conservative activist Andrew Breitbart. Mr. Breitbart, the column you wrote that started this story begins with the word context is everything, and you describe the Tea Party episode, and then you get to this video of Shirley Sherrod, and before we hear her, there's slates that we see in the video, and it reads this. It says, on March 27th, 2010, while speaking at the NAACP Freedom Forum Fund Banquet, Ms. Sherrod admits that in her federally appointed position, overseeing billions of dollars, she discriminates against people due to their race. In the portion of the speech you have online, she does no such thing. She talks about an episode that was in 1986, 23 years before she came to work for the Department of Agriculture. Is there a factual mistake in that posting?
This story is about the NAACP. This story is about the NAACP falsely accusing the Tea Party of being racist. And
well, have you
when we provided exculpatory evidence to show that Congressmen Cleaver, Carson, and Lewis lied about the N-word incident, the mainstream media was not there for us to show our exculpatory evidence that absolutely shows beyond a shadow of a doubt that the three of them lied in order to malign a group of millions.
But what does that have to do with Shirley Sherrod? What does it have to do with Shirley Sherrod?
It has to do with this tape is about the NAACP. Its raison d'etre is about non-discrimination. And when Shirley Sherrod is talking there, in which she expresses a discriminatory attitude towards white people, the audience responds with applause, and the NAACP agrees with me, and it rebuked her and the audience. So the entire conversation about race right now in this country is because the NAACP brought up without evidence again, and including the false narrative that the N-word was hurled at three black congressmen. This is asserting that the NAACP condoned racism and was caught on video. And the more video that we've seen that we haven't even offered, there's even more racism on these tapes. This is deeply problematic.
I'm happy to look at those tapes, and I promise I will look at those tapes as you post them, but I want to come back to another. You say context is everything. We believe facts are important, too. Now, in this case, if
it is the case, and it can be shown to me that the incident that she's talking about was done many years ago and not in her current context, but as a reporter, you tell me how you confirmed that the incident that she's talking about was 24 years ago. You tell me as a reporter how CNN put on a person today who purported to be the farmer's wife. What did you do to find out whether or not that was the actual farmer's wife? I mean, if you're going to accuse me of a falsehood, tell me where you've confirmed that this incident happened 24 years ago. This is Shirley Sherrod trying to save her job when her problem is with Vilsack and the USDA and the NAACP, both which have rebuked her and forced her to leave her position.
I think she has legitimate questions, as do we, for Secretary Vilsack, the NAACP, the Agriculture Department, and perhaps even the Obama White House. But did you reach out to her when you posted this to ask her? I have this tape. I think it shows what you believe to be damning conduct or questionable conduct. Did you reach out to her and say, what incident are you talking about? When did this happen?
This was not about Shirley Sherrod. This was about the NAACP attacking the Tea Party, and this is showing racism at an NAACP event. I did not ask for Shirley Sherrod to be fired. I did not ask for any repercussions for Shirley Sherrod. They were the ones that took the initiative to get rid of her. I think she should have the right to defend herself. But what you see on the video are people in the audience at an organization whose sole job is to fight against discrimination, and they're applauding her overt racism that she's representing.
When did you come into possession of this tape?
In March of this year.
And do you have the entire thing? Because she says where you cut it off, she goes on to say there's no question. She says that she was uncomfortable around this white farmer, that in her view he was expressing her superiority, and you air the portion where she says so she found him a white lawyer, one of his kind. There's no question that you can watch the portion that you have on the website and start to think about what are her motivations. But she says she's trying to tell a parable, and that she goes on to say that she realized she did have prejudices, that she had her own prejudices here. And I'm going to play the last snippet. Let's listen to one piece of this. the tape that this is on your website.
Yes,
this part where she seems to circle back.
We kept that because it says that she says that it's not just about race, it's also about rich versus poor. That was the exculpatory part, but she did express racism.
What happens next? What happens next? She said, I want you to listen to one of the things she said.
I didn't fire her. I didn't fire her. This is not about Shirley Sherrod. Will you give the opportunity for the million-strong Tea Party that CNN and the mainstream media has maligned as racist? Will you give us the
I have not maligned the Tea Party as racist.
I said CNN. I did not say John King. You have given air to the NAACP charges and the Congressional Black Caucus charges that the N-word was said 15 times by 15 different people by Congressman Carson, at Congressman Carson and Lewis and Cleaver. I can prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that they created this out of whole cloth. It is a lie, and I want the opportunity to show America that the mainstream media, just like the journalist, which organized and colluded against people and even said blame people on the right of racists to destroy their lives in order to stop the breaking of the Jeremiah Wright story. So racism is used by the left and the Democratic Party to shut up opposition. And I'm showing you that people who live in glass houses should not be throwing stones.
A lot more on this story to dig tonight, including more of our controversial conversation, I guess it's fair to say, with Mr. Breitbart. But first, let's get a first impression from our panel before we dig much deeper in the hour.